So with the EMOM, one of the biggest reasons I love them is just from a time standpoint. You can make them as long or as short as you need them to be. So, I mean, most people have 20 to 30 minutes in their day that they can carve out to find some time for fitness. And, doing a 20-minute EMOM, like you said, is going to give you a lot of bang for your buck. The EMOM is a very versatile piece. It doesn't only have to be for conditioning. I actually use EMOMs for a lot of my strength work as well. But like a quick example of that would be one power clean on the minute at about 70 to 80% of your 1 rep max on the minute for 10 minutes. And it's kind of more of a muscular endurance type of piece.
So what are misconceptions of a lot of EMOMs? When you tell someone you're training, hey, we're gonna do an EMOMs today. They say, oh God, not that. Like, what's a misconception? It just sounds so extreme, so off the beaten path when it comes to training, when it's really not that difficult.
You know what it is? The EMOM exposes people a little bit because the clock tells you when to go. You can't just rest when you want to rest, if that makes sense, right? So once that clock starts and we have to do X amount of work, we got to get it done. Once that next minute hits, you got to get it done. So it really holds you accountable to starting that work on time and keeping you on task. You can't just stop when you want to stop.
What is like to find the sweet spot for an EMOM? Like, what is the minimum and what is the maximum a good one should be?
Yeah, so I like to do 2 cardio-based EMOMs at minimum per week. One will be short, which I classify a short one as 12 to 15 minutes. And I usually go with one long one per week, 30 to 40 minutes. And these are, cardio-based EMOMs. Now, in my opinion, what makes a good EMOM is the time, right? So a shorter EMOM, you're going to be able to keep the intensity a lot higher because it's not as long. So you can kind of fit maybe more work into a minute. Then if you're going for 40 minutes, you might need to cut back some of the volume that's within the minute to be able to sustain a longer effort for 40 minutes. Think of it like a 400-meter sprint versus a 5K run, right? You're going to be able to maintain a higher output for the 400-meter run than you are for the 5K run, if that makes sense. Understanding EMOMs and getting a little bit more experience will help you to develop an understanding for the effort level, right? Because most EMOMs, there should be a little bit of rest incorporated in there. I think a lot of people make a lot of mistakes in trying to program an EMOM. They make it a little bit too challenging. And instead of an EMOM, it turns into an AMRAP, which is as many rounds as possible, right? So if I put too much work in that minute, it's going to take you the entire minute to complete. And then there's no rest for the subsequent minutes. So there should be an element of rest within an EMOM. Short rest.
Are there any tips to go to get, I guess, the maximum benefits from minute 1 to minute 15 instead of going, like you said, straight out of the gates at 120% and have nothing left for those final 3 or 4 rounds or 3 or 4 minutes?
Yeah, so in my opinion, the best way to program an EMOM for beginners is to make it time sensitive, meaning you're going to do 20 to 30 seconds of work and then you're going to rest for the remainder of the minute. We're not going to put a number of reps on what you're doing for today. We just want to work for this amount of time. So I want you to get as many as you can within this amount of time. And that's always a good way to hold people accountable in a sense, in terms of finding a number of reps, right? So if I said, all right, we're going to do as many air squats as you can in a 20 to 30 second window, you're going to rest the remainder of the minute, then we're going to hit X, Y, Z. Whatever you get in that first minute, I want you to try to hold as close to that number as possible for the rest of the EMOM.
Okay, so don't fall off the wagon. Don't fall off from 12 reps to 3 in the final one. Just keep it kind of like
you want to try to
10, 10, 10, 9, 10.
Yes, you want to try to keep it consistent if you can. Now, I think if you want a very well-balanced EMOM, you're going to need to think in terms of upper body pull, push, a squat, a hinge, and then either a cardio component or some sort of plyometric. And I think if you can put one movement into each of those buckets, you'll have a very well balanced and programmed EMOM for yourselves, right? So just an example of that, right? So we pick a pull, a push, a squat, a hinge, and a piece of cardio, right? In a 20-minute EMOM, going 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Minute number 1, we can do the bike. That's going to take care of our cardio piece. We could do a dumbbell snatch, which is going to take care of our hinging. We could do burpees over a dumbbell, which is going to be 2 for 1. It's going to give you your upper body push, but it's also going to give you your plyometric, jumping over the dumbbell. Strict pull-ups, which is your upper body pull, and then goblet squats, which is your squat. Yeah, so your conditioning based EMOM is going to be something when you think of like a metabolic conditioning piece or a HIIT workout, that's your conditioning type of EMOM, right? So you're going to pick a bunch of different movements and you're going to, you know, have yourselves do a different one each minute. A strength based EMOM, you can add different movements, but you really want to keep it to maybe 1 or 2 tops and treat it like a superset. And you're going to want to work in percentages that you don't need 3 to 5 minutes to recover, right? If you're doing, you know, just under sub maximal weights, you're going to need a lot of time to recover, right? I'm not going to be able to just back squat 95% of my 1 rep max on the minute for 10 minutes. It's impossible. Maybe it's not impossible, but that's going to be very hard to do, right? So I'm going to want to use a percentage that I'm confident that I can hit every single time. Now, there is spin-offs of the EMOM that I use very regularly as well. And these would be your every 2 minutes or every 3 minutes. And now the way that these work is instead of doing one specific movement on the minute, I'm now going to cluster these movements together and then rest the duration of that window, right? So one I just did today, it was 500-meter bike, 20 GHD sit-ups, and then 3 rope climbs, and you had a 3-minute window to get that work done. So the faster you worked through it, the more rest you had, and I did 4 rounds of that.
3 rope climb.
There is another style of EMOM. I call these interrupted workouts. So an interrupted EMOM is basically you're going to give yourself a big number of reps or a large distance to cover. So it could be, I don't know, 100 strict pull-ups or something that's not going to be done like really quick. It could be a 5K bike or something like that. But on the minute, you're going to stop what you're doing and then you're going to do 5 burpees. Or you're going to stop what you're doing and you're going to do 6 dumbbell snatch or something like that. And then once you finish that interrupted movement, you're now going to go back to the original and continue to accumulate the number of reps. So I'll say that one more time clearly. Like we're going to do 100 burpee box jumps, but at the top of every minute, you're going to stop what you're doing and you're going to do 5 strict pull-ups. Then you're going to get back to your burpee box jump overs and continue on from where you left off. So say you got 12 within that first minute, and then the clock hits, you're going to go do your 5 strict pull-ups. You're going to get back to the burpee box jumps, and now you're at 13, 14, 15, 16, so on and so forth. And the clock hits again, stop what you're doing, do your pull-ups.
All right, so the goal of that is just to get it in as the shortest amount of rounds as possible?
Correct. Yes, so you'll be rewarded for getting the work done quicker, right? It's almost like a penalty the longer you keep going in the workout. You're adding more volume than you want.
You love doing who is this that crushes you? You just like, oh shit, or no, damn, I don't want to do this one.
So I really love doing, again, 40-minute EMOMs, but anytime that the Echo bike is involved, it's usually pretty brutal, in my opinion. The Echo bike, for whatever reason, it just eats me up. I am a bigger athlete, so I can kind of move the bike well, but it just hits different, the Echo bike. Now there,
And
I mean, again, you can get extremely creative with EMOMs. I've done I've done EMOMs where you start with a high volume of a light barbell. Maybe it's 15 power cleans, and then in the other minute, you're going to do 15 calories on the Echo bike. But every round on the power cleans, the reps are going to go down and the weight's going to go up. So you're kind of getting a little bit of a strength perspective with some conditioning component in there as well.
Now, as far as shoes, how important are they for, I guess, versatility in your workout, for an EMOM workout, for any type of workout?
Super important. For me, I wear the Nano X3 for all of my workouts. It checks all of the boxes, and I never need to change my shoes. It's the one shoe that I can wear to run, squat, jump, rope climb in, and I don't have to worry about the shoe breaking down, falling off, or anything like that. All right, yeah, it's called MFLH Train, M as in Mary, F as in Frank, L as in Lucy, H train.com. So you can find 2 programming tracks that I offer. One of them is a more CrossFit style program. It follows exactly what I do on a daily basis. So what I'm doing today, if you follow my program, you're going to be doing it the following Monday. So I kind of go through the workouts. I make sure that the volume is good. Everything about it works. I put my workout results in there, how long it took me, the weights that I used, and then you're going to do the workout the following week. I also have another track called Pump with CH, which is more of a bodybuilding / hypertrophy program. And that's more of your traditional style, bodybuilding workouts. But at the end of it, there's like a HIIT style workout at the end.
Got it.